Is now a great time to buy crypto, or is there another 50% retracement? There are some analysts that are speculating another drop down to $35,000 per Bitcoin. In this video, we're going to talk about everything that you need to know before you buy Bitcoin. And again, if you're really into Bitcoin, I really do believe that you will like this video. So sit back, relax, and again, I hope that you learned something new. So the first thing that I want to highlight is a lot of uncertainty that's currently presenting itself. Although I might not be pro crypto, I know a lot of you guys are into crypto, and I think it's cool, right? Anyone can be into any speculative asset that they see value in. I just think that as a beginner, there are some things, regardless if I partake in crypto or not, that I could share that hopefully kind of like leads you and guides you in the right direction. My biggest issue when I made numerous videos when Bitcoin was at highs of 100 and 120, as Bitcoin was pushing up, my biggest problem with the crypto community, and again, this is just me, so you feel free to share your opinion down in the comment section. My biggest thing was I did not like that crypto is a market full of what I see just of degenerates that encourage other people to leverage themselves at overbought levels. I don't mess with that. I don't like that. Like, even if it was to be something safe, let's say Amazon and Nvidia, I'm invested in those long term. When those are trading at all-time highs and someone asks me, hey, do you think it's a good deal? No. Nvidia at all-time highs, like, it's not a good deal. I just have never seen enough people take that approach with crypto. Everyone hypes it up for no reason. They're going to say, oh, it's going to go to 150, it's going to go to 200 because of the weather. Yet they shed no light on the downside risk. I get it. It's speculative. No one knew exactly where it was going to go, and it did go from 100 to the 126. I get that. But look at it now. Risk to reward ratio wise, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to encourage beginners to leverage themselves to buy it at 110, to buy it at 120, shoot, to even buy it at 100, which it was pretty much trading at all last year. Because now it has hit lows of 60, right? And now it's down at least 40%. Now it's hovering right around 70,000. So that is where this is coming from. Is although I don't believe in crypto, I believe that as markets pull back, I think it makes more sense to possibly buy now than it did at 120. Risk to reward wise, I think it's more calculated, more intentional. But there are some things that I'd like to share with you. And I want it to be supported by actual crypto traders and investors, because I'm not one, right? Jack Yi, is that how you pronounce his name? Trend Research built a $2.6 billion ETH, which is Ethereum leverage long, at an average price of $3,267. For those that don't know, if I'm not mistaken, Ethereum is now trading below $2,000 per coin. In the past week, they have sold $1.8 billion in Ethereum, so more than half of their position, at an average price of $23.26. This is to repay their loans. They now have only $44 million worth of Ethereum and have a total net loss of $750 million. I think not just Jack Yi, because you guys don't know who he is, but even Tom Lee, right? Tom Lee took a leveraged position. I don't know what his average purchase price is, but he's the guy that you keep seeing around where he's down like 45 or 50%. He's down like $8 billion in his position. And then now you have Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor has a position in Bitcoin. So what he does is with MSTR, he dilutes investors, he borrows against those shares, and he buys Bitcoin. MSTR is down 59%. So MSTR's average purchase price for Bitcoin is $76,000. The cool thing about that is that, well, even right now, even if you do believe that Bitcoin might be going lower, again, I think Tom Lee, Michael Saylor, and this Jack Yi guy is a pretty good example of why you do not buy at elevated levels. When all the hype is happening, people often like to say dollar cost averaging. Sure, maybe for those people that run funds, maybe for those people that, like Michael Saylor, he doesn't owe interest on the money that he borrows against his investors. So they have it pretty good. He is not going to get margin called. If you take leveraged positions at these elevated levels, you will be margin called, and you will be part of this kind of like liquidation cascade that has unfolded the past few weeks. Everyone is asking the question, why are so many people selling? Very simple, because they have to. This is not an opinion. This is a fact. Look it up. A majority of crypto traders are leveraged, meaning that they might have $1,000 or $10,000 in their account, but they're trading or investing in Bitcoin with 20,000 or 30,000 or 50,000. Some platforms even offering 40x leverage, meaning that if you have 10,000, maybe you take a $400,000 position. Again, they're not going to just let you lose 50% or whatever Bitcoin is down. No, that brokerage and that platform is going to try to do their part to manage and mitigate the risk, right? They have a liquidation price that if it drops 5 or 10% from your average purchase price, you lose all your money. You get liquidated. You get forced to sell. And that's what we are seeing. Why is there such a snowball of sellers? It's not that they want to sell. It's that they have to. The number one mistake, I don't even know. I would say the number one mistake most often that I've noticed with crypto traders is they are too leveraged at overbought levels. They use leverage. Again, if you're a believer in Bitcoin, keep it simple. Don't use leverage. How cool is it? Again, I'm not here to say that this is the lowest price Bitcoin's going to get. All I'm saying is that even if you were to buy one Bitcoin or whatever it is that you could afford right now with cash, with no leverage, your average price is better than Michael Saylors. You won't get liquidated like everyone else. If it drops 50% from current prices, it's just your money. It's going to suck, but if you can stomach that downturn and you truly are a big believer in the recovery, then why does it matter? The biggest issue with crypto are being leveraged at overbought levels and also not being able to tolerate the time that it might take for it to possibly recover, right? Again, look at what mistake every person that has invested in crypto in the past year has made. Even the big guys, Tom Lee, Michael Saylor, Jack Yi. Why are they down so much? Well, because they used investors' funds to buy at elevated levels. They got greedy. They got too aggressive. That often happens. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to look at the data and ask yourself, what can I do differently? We talked about it a little bit yesterday, where the idea of, let's say that you want to set aside $10,000 to invest in Bitcoin. I split it up into 3 different parts. There's the initial position, the position I take during consolidation, and the third position that I take during confirmation. Again, instead of going all in just at once, you do it in stages when you get confirmation that direction is in your favor. Not intraday, because that's the mistake that a lot of people make. A lot of people, in the past 24 hours were like, oh, the bottom's in, 60,000. I want to share something with you. You really think the bottom is in, right? This looks bullish to you? If you look at the data, again, Jack Yi aside, one of the biggest indicators is trading volume. And when we really began to see an uptick and a rally after the 2022 downturn, and then we went for that uptick in 2023, trading volume really began to pick up. That's why I wanted to pull it up, not on Webull, but I wanted to pull it up so you could see the volume on Moomoo. Please do your own analysis. I would encourage you. I want you to see it. If you look at the trading volume, look at the trading volume spike. Look at the activity spike. We did see a nice uptick, nothing compared to when we really began to see that momentum pick up. The last thing that I wanted to share with you is not the last thing. One thing that I wanted to highlight is how if you look back in the past 12 months, Bitcoin is down 6% since Trump's election. I don't really care about that. I'm not here to get political. It's indifferent to me. Again, I'm not invested in Bitcoin, and I don't think politics has much to do with this. The thing that I want to emphasize is that no one that has purchased Bitcoin in the past year would be up more than you if you were to buy it. Not to encourage you to buy. Again, I'm not pro Bitcoin. I'm not pro crypto. but I can see why people are beginning to entertain the idea of possibly buying. The only thing that I want to share with you very quickly is why possibly you might not want to go all in right now. Again, statistically speaking, just looking at this, historic Bitcoin crashes from the peak to the bottom. This is in 2015, an 87% downturn. This is 2017 to 2018, 84% downturn. 2022, what we just talked about, 77% downturn. Right now, we're right around 52% from the lows of 60. So right now we're hovering right around 45 as we are around 69 to 70. So again, if you think this is the bottom, I'm not here to discourage you and say that it's not. It's all speculative. All I'm here to show you is the data. I hope that it encourages you to make a more informed decision and not just buy because you want to, but buy because it makes sense. Or maybe, again, stay more patient and to know that, okay, one intraday move that we saw on Friday, right, that sharp recovery does not define a market reversal. It was a very strong recovery, and we have to give credit where it's due, from 60,000 all the way back up to 71, almost 72. That's very impressive. But is the crypto winter over? I thought you guys say that it lasts a year or 2 years. This is one day. You're telling me that you're not an impulsive trader or an investor, but you're super excited after one day of an uptick? Again, just challenging your perspective, right? Food for thought. Overall trend is still bearish, lower highs, lower lows. And if we do see another downturn, again, it's just looking at the previous data. Normally, there's about a 70 to nearly a 90% retracement from the highs to the lows. I wanted to show you. If we do experience something similar from 126, let me pull it up here. From 126, this would have to retrace down to, I don't think it's even going to let me on this time frame. This would have to retrace down to lows of, and I know this is going to piss some people off, 35 to 37 for a 70% retracement. That is for the lower end, meaning that it's only 70% retracement, not 87, not 84, not 77, 70% from the highs. That's, again, if it just follows previous patterns, which, again, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't always have to. There obviously is some form of uncertainty that's beginning to present itself. The U.S. government is projected to shut down within the next week. How do you think Bitcoin is going to react? Remember, people like to call Bitcoin the digital gold, but it's not cyclical. It doesn't go up when markets go down. Gold goes up when markets go down. That's cyclical, right? We all know that gold trades as a speculative asset. Again, just being honest with you, right? It sells off before the rest of the market. Bitcoin is down 50%. NASDAQ market's down 4 or 5. S&P 500's down 3 or 4 from all-time highs. Very different, right? So simple question. During still a bull market for overall markets such as NASDAQ and S&P 500, crypto is down, or Bitcoin is down 50%. What happens if overall markets begin to downturn? Again, I love sharing the data. I'm not fear-mongering you. I'm making you aware. Hopefully this just encourages you not to be scared, but to make a more informed, more calculated trade decision. So how do you think that if markets then do begin to retrace as a whole, do you think that's going to be bullish for crypto or lead to more selling pressure with crypto, more leverage liquidation, and more panic selling? So then the 70% retracement doesn't begin to be so far-fetched. But again, no one knows. No one can predict the future. But if that price of $35,000 to $37,000 per Bitcoin, is true, that means that from currently $70,000 per Bitcoin, there could be another 50% retracement. The reason I share that is I think it's important to note, because whatever dollar amount you plan to invest, can you tolerate a 50% downturn? Worst case scenario, because you're bullish in Bitcoin, right? And you think it's going to go to 150, 200,000. I don't know what your speculation top price is. And I'm not here to be convinced. I'm not here to convince you. I'm kind of supporting you in your right to invest in a speculative asset. I just want you to do it in a calculated way. Well, Ricky, then why are you even talking about Bitcoin if you don't trade it? You always talk so negative about it. I don't trade Bitcoin because I don't trust it. I don't trust the industry. I don't trust the platforms. But I like making money, just like all of us, right? We're all here for the same reason. And when Bitcoin falls, MSTR falls. So I've been shorting MSTR. It's been one of our favorite hobbies, from the highs of $500 to the lows of 100. Our LPP team has been shorting MSTR. You can look back to all my videos on YouTube. I've been talking about MSTR since 2024 when it was pushing up to highs of 543. Why? Because fundamentally, when you perform a fundamental analysis, you can see that MSTR as a company, as a business, does not make any money. But again, just like GameStop, I love to compare it to that. When there's a lot of hype and a lot of momentum, anything is possible in the stock market, right? When direction is in your favor. But then fundamentals will matter eventually when hype begins to fade and reality begins to sink in. And that's what takes MSTR from 543 now to lows of $100. And I believe that if Bitcoin continues to sell off, I don't want to touch Bitcoin, but I can short MSTR as Bitcoin continues to drop. So if I see more downturn with Bitcoin, then that means there's more downturn possible for MSTR. That's why I talk about it. And again, shorting is not for beginners. I'm never here like the crypto bros at the top to encourage you to buy. Shorting any stock, especially something like MSTR at technically oversold levels, can come at a greater form of risk. So because of that, I don't encourage it for beginners. And I don't encourage it for anyone. But again, I do trade live every morning with my LPP team, and they get to watch me trade live and short MSTR almost every day. So if you ever want to tune on in, it's the second link in the description down below. So again, I appreciate you guys' time. I hope that you guys enjoyed this little video. And again, I'd love to learn more about your opinions and your thoughts about what I shared today. If you ever want to, again, just feel free to comment down below. And don't forget, if you want to download the Moo trading application, it's the first link in the description down below. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green